Alright everybody, we'll be getting started here in just a minute. Just gotta make sure that everything is online for the stream. So far things look alright. Whoops, that wasn't supposed to happen. Alright, so let's see. First off, I have one announcement that's kind of stuck in processing hell right now. Okay, there we go. Pretty good, pretty good. Alright. So we'll see if we can get some people to come in here or not, but otherwise... Alright, I just gotta check one thing and I will be right back in just a moment. Interesting. Okay, that looks good. That looks good. Let's just change the title to something more interesting than that. And I think we'll be pretty good to go. Alright, so... Alright, so... We'll change it to 0.24 teaching and saving Kerbal kind. And let's just go ahead and get this started. We'll see if we can get some people to come in here. If so, great. If not, so be it. This is more for just fun and interest anyway. So if we can get a lot of people watching, that's going to be exciting. But even not, still share it with the people. This VOD will be up on YouTube as well. So alright, I think we're good to go. Hey everybody, this is Way to Fail, and today we are doing some Kerbal Space Program live streaming. That's right, we are going to play in the 0.24 update, and we do have some new things to go through here. If you check out my YouTube channel, you'll see plenty of it, but this is the first contract update. What that means is that there's mission control, and there are new missions. You can see that I've done some of them, and I have not done some of them, and I have plenty of them that are active. So what we're going to do is just go ahead and get started, just kind of playing around here. You can see that I have some missions that are already pretty ambitious, such as exploring Duna, such as exploring Ike, but we are not there yet. Let me show you my science as it stands right now. My R&D is decent enough, and I'm playing at a little bit of a different resolution than I'm used to, so this is going to take me some time here. Mainly because since I'm live streaming, I want to play in a window mode. So let's see here. I do have... I actually finally got a ladder. I forgot ladders were so far down the tech tree. And I do have some solar panels, which is really nice. However, I can't do a lot in the way of asparagus staging yet, even though I do have other larger solar panels on the way. That's nice that as advanced exploration includes an advanced ladder. Love that. But unfortunately, I did not go up the tech tree way, which will require 90 science, to get the external fuel duct, which is pretty important, just because fuel lines are vital for things like asparagus staging. So we will get there when we get there eventually. But for now, we're just going to go ahead and I guess let's have some interesting things here, because I just want to go over the missions that I have right now. I don't even need to go into mission control. Let's just look at our contracts and we can go like this, whoop, and see the different things. I have a lot of parts to test, and that's pretty good, pretty important. But I think the first thing that I need to do is to rescue poor Nedbus Kerman. He's stuck aboard a vessel, or no, he's flying around, and we can actually see him in the tracking station here. Poor Nedbus. He is currently in flight at, let's see here, 2,251 meters per second on a forgivingly forgivingly centralized orbit here. He hasn't gone some kind of wacky direction, but notice this is a Class A object. That's the same designations they'd used for asteroids and things like that as well. So we're going to start off by seeing if we can save poor little Nettie here, and I think we can. We just got to make a rocket that'll actually get us into space and will actually get us in a position to pick him up. So what we're going to do here is let's plop 2 command pods on here, if I can just remember how to plop those together. There we go. And we're going to pilot from down here. Now this is not a science mission. This is a rescue mission, and I should probably, just for the sake of my own sanity, put the doors on the same side, although for all I know that'll screw up the way I can actually get this open. Now to get into orbit is actually not too difficult, at least right now, because what I'm going to be doing here is, since I'm really just trying to make a ship that will get these people home safely, I really should put together a stack decoupler on it. We're going to put an engine on it as well, and we're going to have just a grand old time here, because I do have plenty of struts that can work okay. But the most important part of all of this, even though we're not doing science or anything like that, don't need any sub assemblies, is going to be using these solid fuel boosters to actually get us into space. So as much as I am interested in possibly using a different kind of layout here, until I have fuel lines, I'm kind of stuck with what I got. So I'm going to make something that ensures me to actually be able to get into space. And I wonder if I do need a little bit more fuel than this. See, the problem is if I put 3 of these, I'm going to start having trouble actually pushing myself out of the atmosphere. But since I'm only on a rescue mission, I'm pretty sure I can do okay here. So let's put... I think we'll be okay with 6. Money's not really a concern for me right now, because money's pretty easy to come by. But we are going to... Let's see here. Can I actually put a parachute right here? Maybe? Yes. Good. And I guess while I'm at it, I probably should put some landing struts as well, just because I'm not entirely sure how those are going to do getting here. But I don't know if I can actually attach landing struts to this pretty efficiently. I might be able to. Let's see here. Can still get in the door. What do they look like when extended? Always check this. Good enough. It just needs to break the fall. You can get money for part surviving, but we're not going to do that today. We're not going to worry about it too much. So will this get us into space enough to save the poor Kerbal, who is somehow flying around the moon, taking his way to the stars, or just stuck on planet? Whoa, no, that's not going to do it. There we go. I still have problems after all this time, after so long playing this game, getting this together. So let me go ahead and change the title just to kind of have the Resculator 0.24 maybe. I don't know why I'm putting question marks on all my titles lately, but I'm going to change the Twitch title to 0.24 Kerbal Rescue Mission. There we go. Update that just to let people know what we're doing in here. And let's go ahead and get started. This could be a botched rescue, but hopefully, if anything, it'll be a flight that works very well. So let's see, we have our that. We want these staging at different times. Now I hope this doesn't go... I'm going to try not to get them in the dark if I can avoid it, because there's a few things that you can do to make sure this works. And we're just going to go and save the ship as the Resculator 0.24 maybe. Alright, so I've been getting a lot of hiccups between the, as Jeb is once again our pilot here, but I've been getting a lot of hiccups just in terms of going from the transitional spaces here. So I hope that's not going to be too much of an issue. Where is our poor orbiting Kerbal? Unfortunately, he's on the other side of the planet, but let's set him as the target. And we are going to actually let him come to us a little bit first. That's one of the first things you want to do with this, is that you want him about here-ish. I think that'll be pretty good. I can still slow up a little bit. Of course, the first question is going to be, can I actually get into orbit with this? Maybe, maybe not. So it's decent enough. Let's go ahead and get our nav ball on down here too. It's again funny. This is actually the resolution I play on my laptop, so it's not that foreign. But I haven't played on my laptop with this game in a while. But regardless, hey everybody who's starting to view here, welcome to the shows. We're going to be starting to rescue poor Ned Kerbal today, maybe. or I could just be crashing and burning because I'm not entirely confident in this ship's ability to reach orbit. We are going 6 solid boosters. Hey, Real Punky, hope you're doing good today. Hope you can hear me pretty well. If there's any audio-visual issues, let me know now so I can take care of them. I am recording this to put on my YouTube channel as well. So if you caught me from my YouTube announcement, great. If you just happen to hit me up on Twitch, whatever, hey, welcome. Glad to be here. Hopefully I can show you something good. Maybe we can actually get our gravity turn right here. Now, I'm actually being a little conservative, going up higher than maybe I normally would otherwise, and this is going to be a very dark launch here, but that's because I'm only using the LV-909 and I want to push out of the atmosphere as much as possible. So once again, we have poor Ned Kerman going at over 2 clicks per second. That's not good. More important thing is that we are actually very, very quickly approaching our apoapsis here. Maybe a little bit too quickly. You're going to need to pull up quite a bit here. And this is what I was saying before. The LV-909 may not be the best one here. I may have actually botched this launch. It's looking like I might have here. So we're at 11, 10. We're going to be pulling up really hard here. As you can hear my dog in the background here. Which, if you've heard any antics about my dog, just know that, yeah, we're going to be losing. We're going to be losing this right here just because I botched the launch. Maybe 6, 5. Yeah, we're getting really close to this. Oh well. Because once we start going down again, we're actually going to start going down here. So I may just have to revert the launch and try it again here, or maybe get a stronger rocket for this. So yeah, we're not rescuing him this time. Oops. Let's see here. I'm just going to, for the sake of time here, we're going to revert the flight to the Space Center. I'm sorry I'm not actually doing this hardcore style, but I do want to show you all, since I didn't have any viewers, I don't think, when I came here. This is the original ship design I had. I was worried a little bit about the LV-909. Oh, great. Good to know. Oh, everything except for the poor Kerbal flying around. But yeah, I was a little worried about the LV-909 having enough push. And right now, that doesn't seem to be the problem. I think the problem was that I just started my gravity turn and actual fuel burn way too late. So we're actually going to go ahead and see if we can go for maximum solid boosters here. I think this is actually going to be overcrowded. We'll see in just a second. Yeah, that's going to clip. All right, so 6 it is, and let's suck a little less while flying. That'll do. Because fuel's not an issue. All I'm trying to do is to get into orbit. It's entirely a thrust issue. And maybe I could switch engines here, but my worry is that I'm going to run out of fuel if I do that. Unless I actually add another fuel tank. I can probably afford to do that. So once again, all I'm trying to do is to get into orbit. So build. And as much as I love you, LV-909, let's pop you off. And let's go with... I like the T-30. It's just beefier. So, yeah. And I know there's plenty of shortcuts I could be doing to get this on there, but there we go. Make sure staging is not screwed up. Looks good to me. Let's fly. So, hey, welcome to the stream y'all are watching as we are trying to rescue a poor Kerbal, and unfortunately, it is a nighttime rescue, at least for the start, so it could be a little bit dark. What? Okay, this is what I love about recent Kerbal Space Program updates, is that we get really, really zoomed out. Alright, but this is Jebediah Kerman, and he is roaring for action. And once again, we have poor Nedbus all the way over here. We're going to set him as the target, and like I said, I like talking through my play here. We want him to actually orbit a little bit around here, because we're going to try and catch up to him as efficiently as possible. But remember, the planet's rotating, he's rotating, I'm about to miss my hotkey. So that I may have actually let him go a little bit too far, but this is decent for this. I'm going to have to match altitudes and everything eventually. This is actually really... I like that they added the Kerbal rescue missions in here, because this is a really good demo for docking. And I just realized this is going to be a pain in the butt without actually having RCS on my ship. But you know what? We're going to try this anyway. So 3, 2, 1, and launch. Here we go again. Notice my ship is heavier, so my solid boosters are not doing as good. Maybe I could have used the bigger solid boosters. Lord knows I have the money for it. Okay. But at least I have a beefier rocket, so we'll go ahead and get that started. This is just to do the initial push, try and get some initial momentum. Getting a lot of speed, which is great. Just don't want the ship to actually explode, so there we go. And we are just going to go ahead and start our gravity turn now. Close enough. So you can see my fuel is bleeding a lot faster, but I'm also getting a lot more momentum here. But the question now is, do I actually have enough fuel to make this through? Because we've got to get up to 100,000, which is the orbit is at, and we've got to get in a stable orbit, and it takes a lot of delta V to actually get out of the system here. It takes a whole lot. And if this doesn't work, I'm just going to rebuild the ship to have multiple kind of side booster rockets and then have the LV-909 do the final push. Because right now I may not have enough fuel to actually get this rescue to go. But that's why we're doing a live stream, just because when I do this on YouTube, you can kind of see me cut stuff out just a little bit. And you can see right here that we are not playing very fuel efficiently. So that's not great. In fact, this could be a pretty significant problem here in just a second. I'll need to get my ship going really well. So I actually had a little bit more time. Alright, so let's add a maneuver. So I'm going to be a little bit in front of him right now, and I need 1,000 more delta V. I don't know if I have that fuel. It's a 33-second burn. I might be able to do it. Where is our periaps? Alright, so that's going to be decent enough. Other thing is to look at the actual intersections that you get here. This is intersect 1. This is intersect 2. So we will be slowly getting closer and closer. And we're going to try and keep this as efficient as we can. Will it work? I don't know. I honestly don't think I have enough fuel to do this here, but it is a 33-second burn. If we do just lose our fuel, then we could have 2 rescue missions in one. But hey, it's Jeb. I've already had him survive a gargantuan fall this update from about 7 kilometers. So now the other thing, if you haven't done burns like this before, okay, can't warm faster. Oh, I'm under acceleration apparently. But yeah, you want to even out the burn on either side here. And I do explain things a little bit just for people who don't necessarily play Kerbal Space Program or don't know the game as well as maybe other people. But yeah, when you have a maneuver node like this, you don't just want to start the burn right at the node. You want to start a little bit ahead of time, like here at about 17 seconds. And we'll see if we can burn down this delta V. Let's take a look at our ship flying in the night. Like I said, I don't think this is going to have enough. If it didn't have the 2 command modules on it, it might. But I am losing fuel so fast. Fortunately, this is a beefier engine. But the question now could be, if I do have enough to make it, and I don't think I do, am I actually going to have enough to get back? Oop, we are going to be so tight on fuel right now. Okay. So intersect 1. 96, 86. What is our current situation? 98 and let's get rid of that maneuver node. So we're currently okay. The reason these nodes are freaking out right now is that I'm practically on the same orbit he is, and you'll see that as we go around here. Is that we're pretty much going to be? He's not going to be catching up to me very much. Let's see here. This is intersect 1. Well, maybe. Intersect 2. 25, 23. So this is going to be going really slow. We're just going to do this a little bit just to make sure, because I don't have a lot of fuel. So if it's going to be a bunch of orbits. So let's see here. Intersect. No, this is not what we want. Alright, so all we do here is we're just having a little bit of a chase mode here. Let's just play with the maneuver nodes for a second. Sometimes if you're having problems, that's all you need to do. Let's make it focused on Kerbal as well, because that'll save some of you all's sanity here. Alright, maneuver time. If we decelerate here, what does that do for our intersections? Doesn't do a lot. If we accelerate, what does it do? Our intersect 2 is now here. Intersect 1 is over here. And if we add a second maneuver node up here, what does that do? Alright, because we want to get them close. But we don't have a lot of fuel to spare. Because like I said, I just want to get it so that we're spiraling into an orbit just to just close enough. So let's go ahead and try. We're going to eyeball it here. All right. So you can see flying around the planet, getting a little bit of lagginess because that's what happens with updates. There's the sun. There's the moon and the stars. It's all good. Still have plenty of electrical charge. Alright, so over this way. And screech, screech, screech. Turn, turn, turn. Alright. Said, if I have to abort this mission, I'm just going to make a much more fuel-efficient rocket next time. But yeah, you can see he is tracking behind me right now. Our orbits are practically the same. I need to do something to change my orbit just a little bit so either he can speed up past me or go a little bit slower. So we're actually going to try and hit the node here. Get a little bit. I am going to need some fuel to actually get aero captured at some point, or like I said, it's going to be a very awkward double rescue. So let's see what happens. We actually don't want the node here anymore, so let's ditch that. And what do we got now? Intersect 1, 200, intersect 2, 230. Oh, that's a second maneuver node. Okay. So let's see what happens here. Because we want these to be eventually getting closer. And right now, my orbit is going a little bit higher than his, so this is where part of Kerbal Space Program does take some time sometimes. It's really how it goes here. So, intersection here, and we're finally getting closer. That's good. And that's all because the orbit over here, I'm going a little bit higher than he is, so he's going to be passing under me very slowly. It's going to take a few times, but when I have this little fuel left, it's kind of what we do. So let's look at our target velocity. Still, oh my god, 600 relative. That's not great. This is where we're going to need the orbits to actually get these things closer, but just a few more orbits should do it. Like I said, I don't have RCS, so I have to rely entirely on my scant fuel resources. But I should have enough to get me back down into the atmosphere. So let's see here. Please get closer. 19. Alright, so we can sit here and chat for just a little bit because it is going to take some time, and I'm going to be hopefully having a light side encounter before too long. Because we're just going to let the planet do the work a little bit. And if you want to see some orbits here, this is what it looks like going around the planet. Whee! I don't know how this is translating on stream at all, but I imagine it's going to look like there is an orbit here. Now, I did have a lot of mods installed before. I had a lot of visual mods, things that made the game pretty. Clouds, sunrises, white, Kerbal, the star there, distant visual enhancer and all that. But right now, we're just going in circles. That's what Kerbal looks like going at really fast speed, and I am just looking at the target velocity right now. You can see that I'm going 200, and he's going a little bit slower, a little bit faster. So let's hear 70. This is going to take a little bit more time, just a few more orbits. I could adjust my orbit once again a little more aggressively, but I think this is going to have to do because I have such little fuel. And it is going to take me some fuel to do this. So once again, we have these are getting closer, 170. 117. So this is where we're going to be looking to adjust our maneuver node to try and get equal velocities. Because if you look at the target velocity up here, you're going to see it's going to rubber band around and around a little bit. But we are consistently getting closer because he is passing under me just a little bit. But yeah, right now you get your relative velocity slower here, and we are slowing down relative to each other. It is going down a little bit each time. And this is where sometimes it is just a game of patience. And that's okay. So we get the little auto saving here. So there we go. 400 relative velocity. Still not great, but only 200 some meters apart. So we're either going to get this really good or we're going to have two ships stuck in space. And if we have two ships stuck in space, that is a very Kerbal thing. I mean, I can abort at any time and just try again with a better ship. And when I say abort, I already did kind of the reload save once. And I don't mind doing that, but I'd rather actually get it right the first time. So relative velocity is getting a little bit better here. I'm really curious to see if I'm going to be able to get these to match or if I'm just going to have to dive back down and try again. Because what's the worst that happens? You actually have like a whole year to save this guy if we look here. So contract complete, by the way. Hey, I tested a radial decoupler in flight. I didn't even know. You get 5 signs for that too, which is pretty nice. So it's here, 60 kilometers. We're almost there. Almost there. So going around in circles. I think it's probably time to start setting the maneuver node here. I think one more pass should do it. And I appreciate you all's patience. Like I said, Kerbal Space Program is an interesting game to watch because you have different people who play different ways. And the way I play when I record is pretty different from going live here. So we're at 32. I can probably actually do one more pass. Pretty good. But once again, notice that just by waiting for these orbits to go, and I don't know if I can go any faster. I can't. Waiting for these orbits to go, I've decreased the delta V I need for the actual catch-up, which is why I'm waiting here, because I don't have the fuel resources. And actually, if that actually may be a better spot for me to do it than here, because we're at 32. If I can get really close just naturally, that may be better. I think I have enough fuel to do this. Or it's going to be a extra rescue, extra fun. Alright, so what do we got? 6 kilometers. I think we got our node that we want. 6 kilometers, you're not going to do much better than that. So let's tweak it. If I can just get, not that way. Accelerate. 6.6, okay. Nope. 8 kilometers. Alright, let's put this over here. Because all we want to do is to get these really, really close. 5.7, that's good. Look at how little delta V I'm using, so 10. So just a little bit of wiggling, a little bit of adjusting here. 4.8. Which I guess the next question is, whoa, get some funny lag here. Okay, that's the other issue, is I'm actually lower than he is right now. So if I move this, so a little bit, 5. So if we go this way, 4.7, 4.1. We got to get to like 2.5 kilometers within each other for him to get to me, or to actually be able to control each other. So it's here, 2.9. That's a little bit of a burn. 2.7, 2.6. Anything more efficient we can do here? A little bit of acceleration? No. A little bit of deceleration. I can't tell because it's right on the Apple apps. 3.5, no. So we're gonna. Okay. 2.4, 2.0, that's probably good enough. 1.7. Can we get even closer? Maybe. 1.7, it's not killing me. 1.8. Alright, I think 1.7, 1.8 is close enough. It's close enough for when I dock. It's close enough for this. But let's see here, 1.6. This actually cuts stuff a little bit. 1.4. Now I need 50 meters per second of delta V to do this. That's good enough. How close are we to the maneuver node? 8 minutes. Alright. We have practically no fuel. We have a Kerbal in distress. If I can at least get him on the ship, maybe he can get some snacks. I don't know. Advanced Maneuver Node is another mod that you can get that'll actually put the different markers on the edge of your nav ball. I could really use it right now because I always, especially when I do a lot of tweaking like that, I never really know where my maneuver marker is. So here we go. And clickety-clack. Funny how it's like auto-saving all the time now. But still just a 1 second burn, if that's full throttle, which is not what we're going to be doing here. So let's get closer to it because we want to make the burn right on time. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, let's not miss it now. 1, and now we're under a minute for burn time. As poor Ned Bad or whatever is just sitting there like, I am so cold right now, poor guy. We'll see. We'll see if we can get him here. This is going to be such a finite maneuver that I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen. Like I said, I could have a double rescue. That would be showing how bad I am at this game. All right, so 30 seconds. Might as well start the burn now. Or no, we'll go under 10. The anticipation is palpable. I want to take this time to say welcome to you all that are newly viewing this. This is Way to Fail. I do some Kerbal Space Program on YouTube. I do like doing Twitch as well. I appreciate you all watching me probably botch a Kerbal rescue right now. So we'll see. We just got to stay on the node. Let's see what our markers look like in just a second here. Because we have very little fuel. Very little fuel. All right, let's get rid of the node. We are 1.5, close enough. All right, so the next thing here, as you can see, I've actually adjusted my orbit quite a bit, is that now, because we're in target mode, what I need to really do is, once we get closer to here, actually go to the target reticule, which this is the pro grade for target. Oh, hey, cool, Cataracts. I'm glad you're able to watch. I didn't realize it'd been like 2 months since I streamed last. It's just work has been nutso, and sometimes you just can't necessarily do it, but that's how life goes. But anyhow, this is the little reticule you want. We're going to stop our target velocity and hope to something that I still have enough delta V to get this. So we're going to keep the SAS on for this, which you can time accelerate as well. Should work pretty good. Just go slowly around. We're losing our marker. We're going to get back to that pretty much right now. But notice once again that maneuver, our target, by letting the orbit do the work, pretty much what it boils down to is that I could have spent so much more fuel before, and now we're not having to spend it. So let's see here. Keeping the SAS off is still going to make me drift a little bit, but that's okay. 90, 80. Once again, we're just trying to kill our target velocity. That's it. And actually, if we look outside the window, we can probably see him flying near us right now. Maybe he is 1,400 meters away. It's probably going to be good for me to know just where he is. How close are we to this marker here? 3 minutes. We got some time to look for him real quick. There he is, all the way down there, getting a little bit closer. Yeah, you're right, where when I really should put RCS thrusters on my ship, the problem is that this is career mode, and I have not unlocked them because I'm stupid. And I think one of the first things I actually said was, wait a minute, I should really have put RCS thrusters in before trying this rescue mission. But we're going to do it anyway, because why not? So we're not losing significant delta V anymore, so this is as good of a time to zero out. Except that we want him to get just a little bit closer, so we will go to the manual view here. So we want him to get within about 2.5, and that's when we can actually switch to him. So we need two things to happen. We need for him to get close to us, and we need him to be flying in a way where he doesn't have to catch up with us with his RCS, or with his thruster packs. So 2.2, good enough. What's our fuel situation like? Not fantastic, but... Oh! Oh no. That's bad. That's bad because I actually was going away from the marker instead of I'm already on target mode. So we may have just botched it because I suck at flying. We'll see. That's right. This is what I get for not doing this in a while. Right, so one, oh no, he's 2.7 away. Okay, so we actually got to fly towards him a little bit. But you see that fuel issue? We are actually about to be out of fuel. Alright. So we're going to have to probably abort this. Sorry, Ned. And do it again, unless I can get it perfect right now. Let's see what the intersection looks like here. He's... yeah. Because I forgot what maneuver nodes do, I'm just going to have to dive this in. Sorry, Ned, we're going to do this again, so... And let's see here. Am I actually... Uh-oh. Oh, boy. Okay. Guess what, guys? We have 2 rescue missions now. Yay. Sorry, Jeb. You are currently stuck in space. Because I was just like, la, la, la. I'm going to fly, however. So let's see. What did I do wrong there? I paid attention to the flying towards the target instead of actually zeroing out my velocity there. And then I went one step further and actually, instead of paying attention to how actually to fly back into orbit and abort the mission, I just flew randomly. Because, yay, streaming's fun. So that's my excuse. I'm going to stick with it. Put 2 radial parachutes on here should be plenty. Like I said, we're just doing a rescue. Now we're doing a double rescue, so you get a 2-for-1 combo, maybe. Hopefully those stick. Alright, now what I said before was that I was going to try and make a more fuel-efficient ship, and this is what I mean here. So we're going to put the LV-909 down here, and we are going to actually put 2 radial decouplers, and I do have struts unlocked as well. Like I said, and I agree, Warwin, having RCS would be awesome, but I don't have RCS unlocked. That would be much more preferable, but I mean, when a Kerbal needs saving now, even though you have a year to get him, might as well do it a little bit earlier. So why is that not going? Oh well. How many Kerbals will I have to rescue? Well, hopefully just 2. Oh, okay. Well, we'll start like that. I have a feeling that by the end of this, as long as I don't kill Kerbals, I guess that means I'm in the clear, right? Because that's what will actually drop your reputation. So we are going to kind of do it this way. This is not very fuel efficient, and I'm so used to having Flight Engineer to be able to tell me what my Delta V looks like. But we're going to make this work regardless, because sometimes you just need more space tape. That was a terrible strutting. Let's try that again. There we go. Just want these all to be a little bit connected, and we are going to put some struts. Because these are going to detach, I can actually put these on the command module okay, without blocking the door. Alright, I'm not worried about saving parts right now. What I'm worried about is getting enough thrust to actually get into space. Remember, I do not actually have fuel lines yet either. So what this means now is that I need to actually get some solid boosters. And I like using the little things for this. I may have to restrut here in a second. Yeah, I have things flying all over the place. I think we're going to use the larger solid-state boosters this time. Just for the sake of... they're not that much fuel efficient. Actually, they're a little bit less efficient than the other ones, but I should be pretty stable because I have 3 command modules, and you do get all the electricity and perks of that. So let's go ahead and put these solids on there. If I could actually aim these right. That's pretty terrible, but we'll do it. I mean, if it spins around a little bit, as long as I don't kill another Kerbal. I've never killed a single Kerbal here in this mission ever. Alright. I'm just trying to save one, and I'm trying to do it without RCS. So yeah. 1, 2. And I could probably be cloning these parts a little bit easier on the other side, but we will do what we can. That's level enough. I should probably make that even more level. Alright. Yeah, that's the part that's nice about live streaming, is that it keeps you honest. You can't just sit save scum and say, I am the greatest of all time this week. More space tape because that's going to be necessary here. I like having a little bit of stability. And notice how much money this is actually taking. I've made multiple launches into space. I do have a pretty healthy budget, though, because I did happen to get some science orbiting the moon. But yeah, here we go. We'll call this the Resculator 0.24, probably, if I can spell right. Probably. I think that's it. So this one's bigger. This one's more prone to explosions. This one is not going to be nearly as stable flying, but it does have... let's see here first off. Is our staging good? 1. We want all these to stage at the same time, so we want that. And I don't really want to fire my final rocket until the end here. And we definitely... I guess we can afford to decouple later, but just as a better practice, I prefer to put this stage down here. Okay, let's go ahead and fly. And if there is a little bit of stream delay, I'm sorry. I didn't think I had, like, I didn't think I had dropped frames, really. But let's see here. Okay, it has not exploded on the launch pad. Here's Bill. This looks very promising. Maybe, maybe not. I am currently reputationless right now, which is really odd. I don't think I loaded the save I meant to. Oh well, we're going to do it anyway. Or maybe reputation's not showing right now. So look, it's really easy to spot my ship and my other target because they're flying at practically the same speed. Unfortunately, not the same speed. So let's set the mission objective first. I can save Jeb whenever. He's good with what he's doing here. But unfortunately, because I did that last push to get them at separate speeds, they are now going to be flying however they want to. Or they're going to be getting a little bit separated here. So I'm going to have to do kind of 2 rescues in one. Isn't that fun? Alright. Probably overshot that too. Whatever. On the bright side, we do get to fly in the pretty sunset, sunrise, sun something. And fly. Please don't explode. Yeah, these solid boosters, they have a lot of boost potential, and these are spaced out enough to where they're not going to explode. But my ship is so heavy now that it's going to take some work to make this happen. Like I said, all we want to do is just rescue 2 Kerbals. 2 Kerbals. Why rescue 1 when we could rescue 2? I should really update the stream name. But I'm in the middle of launch, so we will do that in just a little bit. Now that I remember what my nodes do, when I'm in target mode, I don't want to fly at the target when I'm trying to slow down relative to the target. Now we know, and knowing's half the battle. GI something. So solid boosters about the stage. And kaboom. Gravity turn. Now's fine. And notice this ship is flying pretty damn stable, all things considered. Let's see what we got here. Should be able to push this up pretty far, pretty well. Should be able to. Once again, it's a heavier rocket, so it is going to take some more fuel, and I'm going to need the LV909 to make this happen in the end, but that's why we have the decouplers here to make this work. But once we get as we get higher in that, oh my god, I totally screwed up my orbit here. But yeah, once we get higher in the atmosphere, it should be easier to push out and push through. Should be watching my fuel, which you can actually handy dandy turn this on, which that was available before for those of you that didn't know. Well, let's see here. Going good speed, doing surprisingly well with fuel. This could be kind of a good model for a moon rocket, moon lander. Maybe. Once again, I don't have Flight Engineer on, so I don't know at all what my Delta V situation looks like. But right now we have... I don't think these are going to match up very well either, again. But yeah, what's 1 rescue mission when you can have 2, right? I'll change that as soon as I get in kind of a stable position here. But yeah, our velocity's pretty good. Our fuel's decent. I'm going to be switching to the LV shortly. Very shortly. Probably going to get up to... Whoa, wow. Okay. Did I just pull that off? Maybe. Yeah. Meant for that to happen, obviously. Apoapsis, let's put it up close enough to that. So I guess since we actually have to do some business here, let's not worry about changing the title just yet. Okay, so Apoapsis up here. Important thing that we want is the maneuver marker, making myself look way better than I otherwise normally would. And I know I could have kept myself a little bit closer. We still do have some liquid fuel. And I don't like that I just rotated, but I don't want to ditch that fuel just yet. So it's going to take a lot more than a 35-second burn. It's probably going to take about 1:30. So I'm going to burn this now. Alright, that's not great, but we do that so that we can do this. Let's actually, are we staging? We're staging. Alright. So suddenly, see this 3-minute burn? This is going to be an eccentric as hell orbit. Oh well. We had the perfect shot and we lost it. But that's okay. Usually when I do LV909s, we have more than one. Oh, don't tell me I'm actually going to pass over here and miss my orbit again entirely. That would be sad. Oh well. I should have just burned out my fuel. Well, I don't think I'm going to miss the orbit, but I think I'm going to miss my pretty orbit that I had before. So Well, we don't have physical time acceleration up here, and we do have people passing pretty close by. There's Nedbus. I gotta catch up to him in speed. He is gonna pass me by in just a moment here. So I guess we can wave hello or something. Yeah, our Apoaps, it's gonna do whatever it does. There's Ned. I promise I'm gonna rescue you, man. I promise. Bye-bye. Alright, well, we'll catch up to him in just a little bit. And there is there's Jeb. So I guess while we're here, might as well update here. 2x plus Jeb is what we're going to call this title now. Okay. Because why have one rescue mission? You can have more. At least we're probably going to have an orbit before long. It's not going to be the best. It's not going to be a pretty orbit at all. Okay, but we'll burn on the node here just to try and keep things pretty steady. So that I don't want to screw up my orbit too much more than I already have, but now everybody's out in front of me. So I don't need to have a... since I am actually going to need to catch up with them, I can actually afford to not have my Apoaps so high. So let's see here. I promise this thing's this thing is burning. Yeah, they're flying far away. I guess I could have just tried to do a hot drop and just switch to him when he is at 25, but probably not the best ever. Okay. Almost 2 orbits. It won't be long now. Like I said, I botched that one a little bit. My Apoaps is going to go up here. We're gonna be a lot more aggressive with this one. We're gonna keep it pretty low, especially since that one's gonna go a little bit higher. So I'm probably gonna have to fix it just once over here, because right now I'm on the verge of getting arrow captured again. You can see how this is getting pushed up so far. We don't even need the maneuver node anymore. We had dreams of things going so well. Let's get to about 80. I think that's good. Yeah. And that puts us, let's see here. Intersection 1, good. Intersection 2, terrible. Because our current Apoaps is really far away. So we're going to just try and play some catch up here. I think 80 is decent for that. We don't want to go target, we want to go orbit. So we're going to go retrograde here. I think that's what confused me before, is that since we were both on an orbital trajectory, that's what was happening there. But we are going to have to try and do some kind of burn, because right now I'm passing under them, but I'm not passing under them in a way that I'd like. So let's burn this all the way back down. Fortunately, I have a lot more fuel this time. Oh, whoa. Let's do this closer to the periaps. Let's not bring ourselves all the way back crashing down. Alright, so try that again. Really? Oh well. So long as we don't dip under 70. Alright, so do we actually have a good encounter right here? Intersection 50, intersection 170, and then 50 at intersect 2. I think this'll do. I mean, my Apoaps is not perfect. 60 and 70. Oh well. It's probably better to do it the other way, but here we go. So we're going to do the same thing we did before, just sit and spin. And now we can go back to our target velocity here. Which, notice how much closer we are already. That's the sign of a good launch. What I don't want is for them to be getting further away from me, which doesn't seem to be happening here. We'll see. So we have a nice cluster of things flying after me. Why is it 165? We want this intersection to be better. If it's not better, I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. Okay. So I had it pretty well, and then I started flying a little bit too fast. Okay, so see if we can just go ahead and quick and dirty this one like this. So I had it pretty close the first time. And I have plenty of fuel to make this happen. Alright, so Don't want to go that way too far. I would love for them to be able to just let me dynamically see what the maneuver nodes are doing without me adjusting like this. Okay, so this is what we need to do. We need to just get close. 32, 8. I think 3.2 is going to be good enough. 4.5. 2.2, awesome. Okay, so all we need to do is to do a 4-second burn at the marker. It's going to pump us out a little bit, and then we're going to have to adjust our orbit accordingly. And this is just rescue part 1. Can you believe it? I can, because it's exactly what I said was probably going to happen. All right. I mean, I'm not the bee's knees or everything, but if I screw up, I tend to be able to fix it. In my last career save, I had a like 3 consecutive rescue missions on the moon, but I ended up getting everybody home. I didn't have a life support mod or anything. But this is just going to be a very careful burn. Try and get this as close as we can here, because we don't want to overdo this. Like I said, I just want these markers to be really close. So let's see. Let's get on the maneuver node a little more. And one more burn. Should be able to level this out okay. What do we got? 2.7. Good enough for me. Alright, now we are not going to screw this up this time. Notice that our target relative velocities are pretty damn different, and if I screw this up this time, we're actually going to be flying really off course. So this time I am going to successfully decelerate by getting on the, well, we're going to wait till we get a little bit closer here. All the things that are coming back to me, it's like docking was second nature once upon a time. So everybody going around, there's the resculator, there's the resculator. My orbit is way higher than everybody else's, and I know this is looking like a text-based game right now, but if you actually want to see everybody, there they are, really far away. Where's my target? There's no way my target's that high up. But let's not accidentally hit the abort button either. So, like I said, I'm flying a lot higher than the target right now. If I miss this, I'm screwed. We're at 2.8. You're going to see our relative velocities kind of match each other a little bit more, but not as pretty as they were before. All right, so 300, 200. How close are we now? I should be able to see him out the window by now. All right, so we're not going to screw this one up here. This should be pretty simple. All right, so once again, like this, we're not going to be able to do that under normal acceleration circumstances, but as much as I'd love to do these things in the daytime, these intersections always seem to happen at night. But I do want to lower my velocity. Once again, I should be using RCS here, but I'm not. So 5, 4, let's give ourselves some wiggle room this time. So target velocity, there we go. That's what we want. We want that velocity to go down, down, down. We gotta babysit the maneuver node here. And this should, by matching target velocities here, that should match our orbits pretty well. And let's see here. How close are we going to fly to the target now? 1.3. All right, so we actually got a little bit of time before I have to do the final slowdown. So that's part 1 practically done. If you're just joining us, everything has gone perfectly and absolutely nothing has gone wrong with this rescue mission. This is totally by the book, by the numbers, and everyone is very proud. Especially Nedbus Kerman, who got into orbit with snacks. For those of you who have been watching, I appreciate your silence. Feel free to not be silent. Okay, so I am officially close enough for Ned to be able to fly to me. But I want to get to about 1K, somewhere under 1K, because I can actually switch to him now and do the rescue. Let's turn off that. So hopefully we're decelerating towards our target. That's what we want. That is exactly what we want. 3, 2. This is the other reason you use the LV909. It has such a low thrust that you can get away with doing slow burns like this. Now the other option that I have is actually to try and turn. Let's actually look at the intersection right here. You can see that I'm not perfect right now. I'm still at 0.3 target velocity. And that's because I spun a little bit. 0.3, 0.4. But we're getting there. So if I do just one more burn like this, should be good enough. This is what we call go time. Ned, can I switch to you? Should be able to from the map mode or something. Alright. Okay, I guess we got to get a little bit closer to you, Ned. Oh well. So that is what we're going to do. Now this is going to be fun because I got to fly a little bit closer to Ned here. I thought I'd really be able to switch to him from this far away, but that's not the case from the looks of it. So we're just going to be doing this by eyeball now. Let's get to within 500. I'm kind of conservative when it comes to stuff like this. I don't want to sit here and make mistakes because you can see right away that I am going to be losing an intersection in just a little bit, although I'm going to be getting to within 300 at my closest approach, which is pretty good. Alright, 3, 2, 1. There we go. Well, he's definitely being rendered now, so that's a start. And once again, we're going to stop our target velocity, not actually go to the target retrograde, and 800. Now, I wonder if they're like, if Kerbals are like other space parts, where if you fly and throw the engine at them too closely, they will actually get pushed off. I think that's the case. So 1 and switcheroo. There we go. I am now a Kerbal. Let me turn on the lights. Where is the ship? So we need to get home. So we're just going to be flying by wire here. It is 800 meters away. I do have some EVA propellants. And I got to remember how to slow down here. Unfortunately, the way I have my mouse controls currently set up, I got to remember all my buttons. Which one's my slowdown? Because I have up and down. If I fly past this, I'm just going to laugh. And I'm sorry for those of you who are watching this and it just looks like a black screen, but we'll see if we can get the other rescue at a sexy daytime rescue, but sometimes that's not how it works. So we're going there a little bit faster. Whee! Oh, wow. I'm actually hitting the wrong buttons. All right. Yeah, like I said, I have my hotkey set up not so much for usual long distance flight of things like this, but we are actually at least the Kerbal that needed to be rescued is actually going to be rescued here in just a moment, barring some complication, and there's almost always complications with me, as you well have seen, especially since I cannot gauge where my current relative velocity is with this. So if I can just slow myself down a little bit. What's going to make the numbers go slower, guys? So right now, okay, good. We're at daylight. We're at daylight. That's a start. Said I just got to hit the door. He's coming to me really fast. So let's see. We don't want to go that way. 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 I think we want to switch ships really quickly. Really, really fast. Because he's coming right for me. And this is where I saw him out before. Eventually, if we do this too much, he will get pushed. So we go. 104. Now it should be relatively simple. Should be relatively simple. There's the sky. Here's our target. Do I actually not remember how to slow down my RCS pack? It should be... There we go. That's the hotkey I wanted. So 50, 40. Yeah, it's like I know how to do these things, but now that I'm here, we just got to get to the entrance. So see, we do get a daytime rescue after all. Just all we need to do is to slow down and get to the door. Hopefully the door's not on the other side, but if it is, we can rotate, and then it's just, do we get Jeb? Or do we just leave Jeb out in space? I mean, he is in a stable orbit. You know, so let's see here. So there's our target. We're looking for the door. Of course the doors are on the other side. So let's go ahead and go down. Said I could actually rotate and catch him that way. There's nice spot shadow. But there we go. One rescue down. Not bad. Of course, I could botch it right now, make him fly into the atmosphere, and that'll be all well and good. And the fun part is that this is what I like about the career mode, is that there's not a science reward for this, really. There's a reputation reward and all that. Come on, actually be able to grab it, please. Seriously? Alright, well. Let's not have you get too crazy now. Alright, switcheroo. All we gotta do is open the pod bay doors, Hal. There we go. Like I said, there's easier buttons to actually make that happen, but because of the way I have my hotkeys set up, it's really hard for me to actually fly relativistically, like if I'm under something, to actually come up and under it. So, open the door, grab, first rescue. Hey, Nedbus, you're here. Yay, golf clap. Oh, are we supposed to get Jeb too? Well, damn. Okay. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any docking nodes or anything like that to make this work. But we do have another ship that's actually not too hard to get to, maybe, because I have plenty of fuel. So, first things first, let's actually target it. Are you serious? Okay. Set as target. Excuse me for the burp here. Now 29 meters per second. We actually have enough fuel to just straight up get closer to it right now, but let's see if we can yeah, I think we're just going to do this the normal docking style way. Right now it's not really going to be getting any closer. It's actually going to be drifting further away from us. So we're just going to cut our relative velocity here relative to this target. Let's see here. It is currently how far away? Distance 41. And it's going to get to within about 30. So because I have so much fuel, I don't need the planet to actually do the work for me here. I can just go ahead and when we get to about 30 kilometers, I'll match orbits, because there's no reason to there's no reason not to wait and do it just a little bit later, other than the fact that we are burning daylight. So maybe I should just do it like this. Yeah, that's going to take a little bit of time. Let's just do it like this now. So relative to targets. This is definitely not the most efficient way to do this, but this is the way we are doing this today. And you can see where our nodes are actually matching up over here. Like I said, we're just burning retrograde to the target. So we're going to have another intersection before too long. But you're going to see we're going to stabilize pretty soon, and then I'm just going to be able to fly towards the target. This is because I want to do this at the daytime. So let's see here. 4. Okay, we are drifting hard now. Thanks, slow-moving maneuver nodes. This is where RCS thrusters are also pretty good to have for this. So we're at 1.9 relative target velocity. We don't need to exactly zero out here. That's close enough. Because now you can see here that our distances are pretty piss poor. And in fact, we're actually on the verge of crashing. Which means we need to fly towards the target in a hurry. Like I said, we do not want to get error captured right now. What we want to do is to get these closer to each other. 40, 30, 20, 19, 18, 15. Am I going to get much better than this? I'm just eyeballing this right now. 14, 13. Yeah, it's about as good as we'll do. But at least now I'm not on the verge of crashing. Yeah. All right, so once we get to 11, we're going to go ahead and do the re-intersect here. So once again, I have a lot of fuel, and I've burned a lot of delta V, but we're trying to do this a little bit safer. So let's... Whoop! A little too hard there. But yeah, notice that if I don't do this, if I don't get this fixed now, we are going to be having a bad time in just a minute. So let's see. Close enough. So 11.6, and then we can kind of casually burn over here. But the nice thing is that this is actually burning near the periapsis, so we're going to make it work pretty well. Because normally you don't want to burn that hard towards your object. You want to just be able to float towards it pretty gradually. But because I was on the verge of actually crashing into the planet, let's go ahead and can we match? Pretty good. Pretty good. Let's zero out the target velocity here, because now what I'm going to do is just fly towards it. We're going to do this like an actual docking mission. 3, 2, 1, 0-ish. Chase the maneuver node. It's now running away from me because of reasons. How close are we right now? About 10,000 meters. All right. Let's fly to the thing. We're going to only go at about 20 meters per second. And that should give us pretty good intersection. Yeah, 2.7. That's excellent. So let's accelerate time a little bit. Get here just a little bit closer. So we got Nedbus rescued. Now we have to rescue Jeb, because Jeb is always getting into things. So 5, 4... If this is going to be another nighttime one, I'll be a little sad. But at least we can see the sun looking all sunny. Oops. All right. Let's kill our target velocity again, and then we're going to just get a little bit closer. Forgot about the whole accelerating thing with the target here. So we're trying to match orbits again, because that's what docking's all about. 3, 2, 1. Close enough. Actually, 0.5 meters per second is pretty significant when you have somebody with a RCS thruster. So last burn is going to be just a very slow one towards the ship, like before, about 500 meters-ish. We don't need to go much faster than 5 meters per second right here. And we're just going to slow down at the appropriate time. So 2 meters. What's our current intersect status look like? 1.5 and then 0.3. So we're going to get really close to this. Let's hear 4, 3, 2, 1 within the 1,000, so we can slow down just a little bit here. Let's get to about 500. We're going to do it again. Unfortunately, this means I'm going to be doing it in the dark. Maybe. Maybe not. Probably. All right, well. If I can slow down my target velocity enough, I may be able to cheat and do this in the daytime. Maybe not. Because even a few decimals of a meter per second difference can make a world of difference in terms of where the next intersection is. Like, that's 4 kilometers away. Alright, so we are going to be maybe in the dark. Let's go ahead and actually turn this vessel towards him. Towards Jeb. Because remember, he has no fuel. He is going to be just entirely EVAing. Alright, so rotate. Where's my doors? We don't want to rotate that hard. Doors. It's so hard to see in the dark. There we go. Let's switch. Look, here's our other vessel. Do you know who's on EVA right now? It's Jeb. Okay, so let's see here. EVA! Because who likes flying in space? This guy. Oh, you just ran into a rocket. That's so dumb. Alright. So I have my first set of space debris for this save. And now we got Jeb flying over here. Alright. May have to do what I did before in terms of stopping the relative velocity, but we'll see if I can do it this way. If I can just remember the right buttons to actually hit. Okay, there we go. I'm actually doing it all right this time. Let's turn on the light as well. So I'm coming in above the vessel right now. We're going to need to fix that. This feels like the old NES Top Gun all of a sudden. It's like up, up, down, down. I still can't nail those landings. And it's been years. Alright. Just about there. And 400, 300. Probably time to start slowing up just a little bit. We should be able to see the ship right about now. There we go. No, not that way. I'm forgetting what my buttons do. That's not good. All right, so 200, and let's just play it safe again and do the whole decelerate relative to the target. That's not what we want. We want that one. And our target's coming right for us. Now he's not. So target the ship one more time. There we go. Okay, once again, we just got to get a little bit closer and a little bit slower. That's a little bit slower. That's good. So 900 meters, 800 meters, more. Good stuff. Alright, oh. Look at Jeb. So here, all we gotta do is go to the front door here. And he's doing pretty good with his fuel efficiency. Actually, no, we gotta get back towards the place. Wonder why he's flying away all of a sudden. There we go. Alright, so 3, 2, we're flying really fast at it, so there we go. Said all we gotta do is get to a door. Get to a door. And unfortunately, because I don't even have lights unlocked in the tech tree. And of course, we always end up on the other side of the ship, because why not? Now, Jeb is taking the top seat here. So we'll see how this goes. I like that the dynamic lighting's actually working this time, and we do have... Oh, whoa. Wrong buttons. Incorrect button pressing will be the death of me, especially since I can't set the crew hatch as a target, so... I'm going to be eyeballing this. Come on, give me that grabby symbol. Grab it. And Jeb is saved. Just like we planned it, guys, right? Notice that there's practically no electric charge on this boat anymore, which means we need to... Oh, no. which means we need to pretty much decelerate right now. Oh, God. You know, we're not out of the woods yet, because I have no charge on this ship, and I have no solar panels. If I can deploy the chute manually, I'm okay. If not, I have 3 dead Kerbals. But thank you for the congrats. We'll see how that works. Because once again, I decelerated around the wrong target marker. So right now, the only way I can control my ship is through rocket boosts. I don't even know if I can use the decoupler right now, but we're going to give it a shot. I could have a failed mission right here, right now. We'll see. So 500, that's aggressive enough, I think. I do want to make a land landing if at all possible. So that should accomplish that. So now the question is, can I decouple with no electric charge? Yes. Alright. Can I deploy the landing gears without electric charge? Yes. Can I do anything else other than just be at the mercy of gravitational forces? No. How hard can it be to land? I don't know. Probably pretty hard. But we are going to have a daytime landing for once, which is nice. So here we go with the rest of the ship going down. 3 Kerbals! All in a pod. It's daytime. The sun rises as we are getting closer and closer to the atmosphere. Once again, I cannot rotate. I can't really do anything. Now, there's no mods, atmosphere mods or anything that I have installed. So we're going to just have to see. I hope there is like a manual override for deploying the parachutes. That would be what would make sense. But we are going to be landing in the highlands, so there's no... Oh, look, I am not going to be reaching my target again. There I go. They don't look happy. They look okay. Nedbus, I mean, if we look at his seat right now, he has the same view everyone else has, pretty much. They're just going to be landing in wherever. So let's see here. I don't know whose view's which, but yeah, they have no electric charge. They're probably a little cold, and they probably have to pee. But I mean, that's space travel. I mean, I actually have... I guess I should have dropped a battery on here because I forgot about the whole... Wait, this takes a lot of power just to do all the rotations. But whatever. As long as I have parachutes, I'll be okay. If I don't have parachutes, well... You know what? At least 2 of these 3 guys will respawn, and who really needs the reputation anyway? Oh, there we go. It did fix. That's about where it should be right now. So I've spent a lot of money to get this. We do have a few notifications while we're here. Nedbus Kerman added to the space program. That's nice. Like, you rescued me. Now I'll join you. And we got Nedbus towards on a vessel, so we get a little bit of money and a little bit of reputation. But the reputation gain is going to be from if these guys can survive. Being cold and having to pee. Well, it does remind me of the Apollo 13 thing where if you're familiar with Apollo 13, there's a Tom Hanks movie about it that's semi-historically accurate. But that's that was the failed moon landing where they actually had to return home due to some mechanical malfunctions. And one of the guys actually suffered a wicked urinary tract infection during the flight home. And actually, so it was kind of along the lines of he wanted to pee, but he was dying and in immense pain because it moved. I think it moved on to an infection in him a little bit further. But fortunately for us here, we have dynamic forces that are beyond my ability to explain right now, that are currently moving our ship in the correct direction. At least we want it facing butt first. If we had real atmospheric, like destroying things, these legs would be gone, but... So yeah, space travel, being cold and having to pee. I don't know, I've been reading some interesting books, they're fiction books on it recently, and it's just kind of along the same things. What are some common themes you see from having a bunch of people packed in space? They want to eat, they want to stab each other in the back, and they want to have sex. I mean, that's just kind of the human condition, because really we are just on a exceptionally small spaceship floating around in space on the Earth here. I mean, that's really what we are, just a very tiny closed system, a pale blue dot, if you will. But on Kerbal, One thing that I do like about career mode is that it kind of adds some life to the rest of the world. There are other things other than your space station. One day I hope they actually add cities and other places for you to land. Or I really hope someone figures out how to mod other cities in a way where it actually loads and it's meaningful in some way, shape, or form. But for now, we are going into the upper atmosphere. And if I can get my chutes to deploy, I'm fairly confident I can do this here. Now, I do have a test for these parachutes. I'm flying and I'm at a certain altitude, but my speed is not going to be good here. I like the MK16 and radial mount parachute tests because it is literally like, hey, yeah, that's a good point, Catrex, about people in the submarines. Yeah, I've known some people in the Coast Guard as well. They're just really, they take their shore leave very, very, very frivolously. But yeah, horny sailors, horny, all that. I mean, what does astronaut mean but literally star sailor? That is the roots of the word. So while I can try and test my parachutes here, I'm going to be going way too fast. To pull off these tests, I'm going to have to do a suborbital flight, which is not what we're doing here. We're trying to do the actual rescue. So we got to return home and recover Nedbus Kerman. We're partway there, and we're going to get our big fiery entrance in just a second. I don't want to deploy my chutes right now because they could burn out. And for those of you who don't know, you can actually take this bar and go whoop, whoop, and get them up and down. But let's see, there is the moon. I'm not sure what I want to do next. I do have a mission that says fly to the moon, but I kind of like to go to Minmus first because it's a little bit easier. So if you all have some suggestions of what you want to see, I've got some more time to play and do a little bit more. If you all have anything specific you want to see me try and do. I have a mission for Duna. I probably could build a Duna rocket with what I have, but it'll be pretty terrible, and I don't know if I'll be able to return home. But yeah, decelerating. Things are going pretty well. And we're still at that altitude, but we're not going to have the speed for the radial parachutes. So yeah, that's one thing that I like about career mode, is that it's going to have to be a very specific thing you test. Like you have to make a craft for it. Have I ever played the X series? I want to say that I have. I will say up front that there's a lot of first-person spaceflight things. Star Command comes to mind. Descent comes to mind, where I really like it, except that first-person spaceflight gives me terrible motion sickness the way that first-person shooters do. So that's one of the challenges there. Maybe I should have strutted these together. Maybe I should have put some radial parachutes down there. We'll see, but we are going to... Can I stage these? Yes! Now, part of the issue is that this might become detached. I hope it doesn't become detached. We're going to go and put our landing legs down. There's nothing else I can do other than hope that these stay intact. Because right now, there's going to be kind of a yanking force here. Maybe I should have put Nedbus up here to kind of save scum. Because I actually have a feeling that this is going to yank apart and these two bottom parts are going to go away. So that's unfortunate. Maybe I should have kept my rocket for full deceleration because I had plenty of fuel. Because that'd be great. It's like, hey, look, we have a rescue mission that we are going to fail. He did join the space program, and I guess I could EVA him if it comes to that. But we're going to have the moment of truth in just a minute. I do have 3 chutes, and that is going to put a lot of pressure on that point right here. So let's hope that this stays together. I have had crazier spaceships stay together when landing. And I think the radial parachutes actually deploy a bit higher up. Or actually will open a little higher up. We don't want to cut the parachute. Although I can. So let's see here. We're at 100. We're at 97. I don't think it's going to split apart. Okay, good. Yay! Rescue successful. So let's go ahead and get this all the way down. For those of you who don't know, you can actually look at the altimeter in the inside here to actually see where you are relative to the ground. And we're about 200 meters up. Yeah, actually, he did join while in space. That's part of if you get the mission objective of up here, he's like, yeah, I'm signing you on. And I don't think the Kerbals are really people that like to throw signing forms at everything. I think they are, they're just very collegial, very, yeah, we're going to just make this happen. And you get to join us now. Okay, that's fine. Crew reports. Let's keep the data from Kerbin's Highlands, which means we actually get to EVA Jeb and get some more science. Oh, wow, he can actually climb all the way up and down these. All right, so fall to your butts. Let's go this way. Thank you for the congratulations. Let's go ahead and take a surface sample. Oh, I already got some from the Highlands. That's right. EVA reports, nothing new. Plant a flag. And I could say something poignant or clever, but instead I'll just say rescue success. Nedman and Jeb 100% as planned, of course. Har har, something to be said there. Alright, so new flag. Jeb's here. We're happy, happy, happy. And let's go ahead and switch the vessel. Because right now we're just going to... Oh, wrong button. Let's go ahead and hit the recover vessel button. Yay! Did I just recover the flag on accident? I bet I did just recover the flag. I just recovered the flag. I'm a moron. Hey, but look, we have Jeb right here. So let's pick him up. And we got surface sample from here, and we got some prestige because our crew survived again. I noticed the more I use Jeb, I get less reputation for him surviving. I guess people just expect him to survive. If you saw a video on YouTube that I put, he also survived a 7,000 meter fall without having to respawn. So there's that. So the resculator probably. Let's recover that. And look at this. Crew report, or surviving the Kerbal's orbit. So 16 more science. Parts, we get a little bit of money back. So I still am at 300 something in the green. And Bill and Nedmus are here. So pretty cool. Bill and Ned's excellent adventure. And because this space debris is floating around, we're just going to blow it up. There's no reason to keep it. I can't even get it out of orbit. So there we go. Mission successful. And we will get our little bit of a mission message in just a second. There we go. Contract complete! Well done! Nedmus Kerbal has been recovering in one piece and is now enjoying a thorough debriefing from the comfort of his quarantine cell. That's interesting. These are much more well-written than procedurally generated mission markers. Nedmus is now part of your crew, may be assigned to future missions. Holy crap, that's a lot of... oh, I didn't see the decimal. Yeah, so that's 25 reputation and more of that, so pretty good. Option to... Okay, so you're talking about cataracts, you're talking about X. It gives you the option to pilot, remote control everything. More I play, the more I realize less of a space sim and more of a giant economic sim. That's interesting. I'll have to take a look at that game again. Because like I said, I'm familiar with it. I'm sure I've tried it at some point, but I don't know how much I've tried at it. But here's my tech situation right now. Like I said, I do not have RCS blocks. I need to get RCS at some point if I want to do that kind of stuff more. But what I really need for some of my deeper space flights is an external fuel duct. So let's see here. Anything specific you all want me to do? Because I'm thinking of flying the Minmus, and I don't know what I just clicked on. That's not what I meant to click on. Let's see. So rescue mission's complete. Let's go and update. To success updates. Not too bad. And I'm just keep hitting the mission control button, apparently. Alright, so we have the hangar here, we have mission control. Anything new? Science data from a space around the moon. So we do have some options here. But I think instead of all these, I'm not going to... I guess I can't accept that because it does... Oh, shit. Oh, it expires and it has a 10-year duration. I was going to say it doesn't expire in one day. Let's see here. So I can also, when splashed down at Kerbin, you want me to test the liquid fuel engine? Really? So I have to go into the water to test that fuel engine. That's funny. I'll accept that just to try and do it later. And Rockamax decoupler in a suborbital trajectory. And this one seems to have only an altitude requirement. So I can probably do that one just on my own. But more important, since I got a quest from Minmus finally, we're going to go complete an orbit, take scientific everything, and yeah, let's just fly to Minmus since I have the since I have the quest issue for it now. So what's a Minmus rocket look down? Hi, Anthony Bob. How are you doing today? Now this rocket, you know what? This can actually make it to Minmus. This can. So the only thing that it really needs, well, there's a few things it's going to need. First off, it's going to need 1 command pod, not 3. So we're just going to call this Minmus Flyer. Totally not a rescue ship, because that's true. So first thing I need, if we're flying the Minmus, I really do need some batteries. Because Minmus is a long flight. So it's going to take some time. The second thing I'm going to need is to get the same kind of parachutes that I had before. We want to put them on the right place. Now Minmus is high up enough to where I don't need to worry so much about the ladder, but we're going to make it happen anyway. I want to have some experiments on here as well. The other important thing is that I actually do need some landing struts. So we'll do it like that. And because I am going to Minmus, alright, I do want my signs to actually survive on return. So let's go ahead and, oh, well, let's not do it that way. Let's do it this way. We're going to have our Science Junior right here. I put our radial chutes 2 abreast, like so. We'll put these over here. Voila! And just to be safe, we will have some landing struts over here. We should, anyway. Now this rocket's going to be a little tall, but not too tall. And there is a button for cloning parts that I can't remember right now because I suck. All right. Oh, there's. By the way, if you have a blue part here, that means that you have a contract to play with it, but you don't actually have to have it researched. So that's a good way to unlock things further down the tech tree. So we do have our 2 Science Juniors. We have this here. This rocket's not going to be so tall that I can't jump up to it on Minmus, I don't think, especially with an RCS pack. But just to be safe, I'm going to put a few ladder spokes right here, because that's an important consideration. But yeah, you can actually, I think you can actually do a free fly off of Minmus without anything if you're in a high enough area. We're going to put those there just kind of, they're not even, oh, they are actually lined up. That's crazy. Okay, so the other thing that we are definitely going to need is solar panels and lights. The Illuminati is what I keep wanting to call that, but that's not what we're going to call it here. So it's here. How many solar panels? Really, is it going to force me to do 2s? It's going to force me to do 2s. Okay. So we'll put 2 here. 2 here. And then because we want to, this will be enough to get some power. So we'll put 2 here. And can I do it like this? 2 over there. That should be okay. Not the prettiest set of solar panels I've seen, not the prettiest ship I've ever seen. But we do have some more science we can get. We can get the comm. We can get the comm. We do need a comm device. Just 1. We do have 2 backup batteries and solar panels. That should be enough. We do have an extra experiment with the thermometer. So we're going to do that. And we'll put that over here. It has negligible weight. Now I could, yeah, don't forget some sort of power source. Thank you, Catrix. I do have the, and I saw your message way too late. I'm going to do the solar panels here and 2 batteries. So that should be good enough. Like I said, this ship really looked like it had the Delta V from where I was sitting to make it to Minmus. We're going to find out. Without the extra weight of the command modules on top, because those things are not light. I should be able to make it. Should be able to. So we need lights, and then we'll be good. Because if you land on the dark side of a planet and you don't have lights, you're going to be very sad. So we'll have 2 lights here. That's good enough. just to be able to see the ground just a little bit, and just so that you all can see the actual landing site. So, as always, let's test the landing struts. Test. I only have the light ones. You kind of want the heavier duty ones for another planet, but for now, here we go. Totally not a rescue ship with a bunch of science strapped on it. Definitely not. So we do have one science junior. I'm only going to be taking one experiment, and that's going to be from the surface. Actually, the last time I landed on Minmus, it was... I'm going to change the tile here. We're updating to fly to Minmus here. Minmus is actually easier to land on than the moon. That's worth mentioning. But here we are on the planet. Just Jebediah again, because sure, he got rescued. But that's what we're going to do with this today. Notice that I have electric charge, only 250. And this is funny because it's not updating right away. It will be able to in a little bit. But we do have a contract for flying to Minmus, so that is what we're going to do today. Now, to get to Minmus, it actually does take a bit of a jump here, because you kind of have to adjust your orbit accordingly. But the first thing that our first goal is first, we're actually going to just trying to get into orbit, which should be pretty simple. We did it the last time, so this is definitely the time to explode. Is our staging good? Our staging is almost good. There we go. Good enough for me. Quick save, because why not? It's not like I'm going to reload if I screw up. We'll just do another rescue mission for Jeb, right? Let's fly. Nighttime launches are fun. I wish I had my old skybox back, but there we go. So going up high into the sky, using these solid boosters to make it work. But yeah, Minmus is a really good place to land instead of the moon. It's harder to fly to if you don't know how to use your maneuver nodes, but once you get there, it is much easier to land on. It has a much lower gravity well. You are much lighter on there. It is much more forgiving if you screw up. So Scott Manley recommends it, so it must be good. If you're practicing wanting to land on something else first, practice on landing on Minmus first. I didn't even mention the fact that there are very large flat surfaces that you can land on. So cut, and let's go ahead and accelerate for our gravity turn, which is really pissing off our SAS right now. But since we don't have anyone to rescue around orbit right now, I guess we're going to be okay. So I have no messages. Nobody needs me. Let's go ahead and get this at the 45-degree inclination. And here we go. So once again, just trying to jump into an orbit, and this is the kind of thing that I eventually in my videos kind of accelerate through, because it is a little bit easy peasy. And maybe I should have a 100-meter space station up just so I can see what the orbit looks like. But there we go. I have first orbit flag, I have rescue success flag. This is going to be the longest mission that I've taken so far. Flying the Minmus actually takes a few days game time. So you need solar panels, you need batteries, you need something. I still remember the first probe I ever sent to Minmus in this game. I was so excited because I could barely see it anywhere, and then I realized I had no electricity and my ship just failed. But yeah, this is... Now that I'm not actually doing something crazy like trying to rescue somebody, I'm hoping this is going to be a more of a normal mission. I have my, not really jitters, but my stupidity out of my system. We'll see. It's very possible that I could be very stupid here just regardless. So 60, 70, we're going to go the full 100 just because it's good for consistency. And it means it takes less power to actually get out of here later. So 100, and let's cut. That's good enough. Maneuver node. It looks like they changed the font for this, because I remember some of the maneuver node fonts being a little bit different. I don't know if that's just my system or the fact that I changed resolutions, but I think they actually did change it. All right, so 109, 109, that's good enough. And it's only a 33-second burn, but remember, we're at very low fuel here, so it's going to be more of a, we want to burn at 1 minute and 30 seconds. Because otherwise we're going to have a very, very slow, sad orbit here before long. Because it takes about 3 minutes with this rocket we learned last time. Now, can I actually turn on the lights? No, that hotkey doesn't work here. Now I can click them individually to say lights on, but that actually does take power. So you can see right there, just a little bit of power, negligible power. So lights on, lights off. So while I'm just blah-blahing this away, get on that node. Notice how this ship is a lot more wobbly because I don't have 3 command pods. That is kind of your way to cheat into getting more crew on the ship, getting more vehicle stability control. Oh wow, not bad. Actually did a much more fuel efficient burn this time. I don't really care so much about what I'm doing, but yeah, that's a much better burn than I had last time. In fact, we're just going to redo our maneuver node right now. I said we're going to redo it. There we go. 80, 97. Why'd my SAS turn off? Well, I'm going to need to have an eccentric orbit anyway, so. Okay, so SAS on. There we go. Alright, I don't know. I thought things would be simpler, and now I'm getting some bizarre frame skipping. But here we go, we're flying into the sunrise. How pretty. This is a pretty game even without mods. But you can see that now that we do have electric charge, we do have our very happy solar panels like this one. Direct sunlight or blocked by landing leg 1. I love early access because it still has little text things like that. Now, nice update, and this is from the NASA update, is that you can click off the maneuver nodes there whenever you want to instead of doing it the way I did before, which is just trying to fish over them. But right now, should be in good shape for Minmus here. We have a lot more fuel than we need, because it's one of those interesting conundrums that always comes up here. For space flight, pretty much anywhere to go into space in our solar system, still you need to budget most of your resources, not always all of your resources, but most of your resources for actually getting off the planet. I mean, unless you're trying to fly to the sun, or unless you're trying to fly to like Mercury or Moho in this game, most of your resources are going to be going to just getting off the planet. And I'm still looking for a great mathematical explanation for why it takes so much energy to get so low to the sun. I mean, I have an idea in terms of where your velocity is going, because at least, like, let's talk in game terms. Kerbal is orbiting the Kerbal, the sun, at about like 9,000 meters per second. And then if you dive in closer to the orbit there, you're going to be having a let's see, let's get this right first. You're going to be having you'd have an eccentric orbit, but you'd be a lot faster on the periapsis side of it. So you can get like within 1,000 meters of the sun and you're going super fast, but you're still slingshot way out. Like I said, I just would love to see the math to understand how that works. But let's focus on this. Minmus. Minmus is a fun planet because you have to get your maneuver nodes kind of right, and you can fly directly to it. I'm not going for a pretty flight here. Whoops. But if you go too far, you'll actually leave, and we don't want to do that. Looks like I actually got sort of a close-ish encounter, maybe. Maybe not. All right, so pretty decent. That's kind of the mark we're looking for, and there is our Minmus encounter. Now, how close do we get to Minmus this way? I feel like I can do better. So let's get this up here. I could not have actually timed this launch better. Let's go ahead and do this. A little closer. Like I said, I'm not going for a perfect one, but I want to get a pretty efficient one in case things do go wrong, because I'm going to have to use my own fuel to actually slow down here. So how close are we? Minmus periapsis 1 million. Now I can do some mid-flight corrections to fix that, and that may be the better course of action to do right now. But let's just see if I can get, because right now I feel like I'm going to be going up above the planets. Actually, my sphere of influence isn't even really reaching There, so that's kind of that's one that's going to disappear. Right, so periaps 300,000. Periaps is 90. There we go, we're within 100. Not, once again, not the most fuel efficient burn, but considering we're not having to do any corrections like this, and we're actually nailing it on the plane. There we go. So we have a 2 minute and 17 second burn in about 13 minutes. And as fun as it would say, hey, let's go get a drink and just wait, I'm just going to go ahead and do this now. So, let's fly. Because we don't want the burn to be at a place where we're actually burning into the atmosphere. That would be bad. So it's here 11, 10. We want to start our burn in about a minute 8. There we go. Like, it starts to get really fuel inefficient if you're burning back into the planet. So you want to avoid that. And that's where sometimes it's better to just actually fly and do a few orbital passes while going out here. But we should be close, close, close. I have, once again, a lot of fuel. And notice that this only takes 900 delta V to do this. And I don't have any, like, quick fixes for how much I have, but I have quite a bit on my ship. And it actually, once again, a return trajectory onto Kerbal, especially if you don't care about where you're landing, does not take a lot. But right now I'm in pretty good shape. We're just going to have to watch the actual marker here before too long. But hey, thank you all for those of you that are watching and sticking around. My name's Way to Fail, or Way to Fail Self. I'm on YouTube as well. I do Kerbal Space Program. I do other stuff. I do FTL. I do some other things. I play some games. I do some Let's Plays. I make some commentary from time to time. But I appreciate you all watching, sticking around, chatting, anything like that. It's great. I really like streaming because it's great to interact with viewers in a way that I otherwise don't have a chance to. Unfortunately, my schedule's really kind of got in the way of me streaming because I was hoping to stream a lot more FTL. And it just turned into, I could stream my life and it would just be me sitting at a desk typing furiously. And I know some of you all would love that because you could totally relate. But here we go. Once again, we're going for our magic, really, really hard ballistic trajectory towards Minmus. We didn't even have to adjust the orbit at all. We're just right on the orbital plane, just hitting it perfectly. Which, once again, it's not the most efficient thing in the world, but it's the thing that we are doing. So just trying to burn on the marker here. We have officially, probably shortly, we'll be leaving our Kerbal orbit. Yeah, we're at 3 million. This is taking a lot of burning, but notice here, once we get this is going to start going faster. 3 million, about 100 more delta V. This is, like I said, getting out of the Earth or Kerbin's gravity well takes so much more energy than pretty much anything else you want to do here. But I've got plenty of fuel to do this. I'm now past a mooner encounter, and it's not super efficient to use the moon as a slingshot, so we're not going to do that. Whoop! Alright, so right away the game lied to us a little bit. But we do have an encounter. So let's go ahead and cut that node. Now if I fly a little bit closer, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 2, 1. Yeah. Good enough for me, 150. Now this is going to put us under Minmus a little bit, as you can see, but we are going to do one mid-course correction. But first thing is first here. Because we have solar panels, let's actually get a crew report from here and transmit it. Let's see if Jeb actually wants to do an EVA report. I think I already got one from here, so I don't need another one. Yeah. So board again, still trying to always get the science. Yeah, Cadrex, that's kind of my relationship with Scrolls 2, is that I feel like, on the one hand, the game's passed me by a little bit because so much has changed, and it's been a while since I played it. Another issue, honestly, is that games can take a long time compared to something like Hearthstone, and sometimes I can't just bring myself to sit for 45 minutes for a game, because I just can't, but Scrolls is actually a game that I enjoy a lot. I really like the board game aspect of it and everything, but I just haven't really been able to bring myself to play it lately, for better or for worse. I mean, call me crummy or scummy or something. Because I have had a few people message me or say, hey, are you going to play Scrolls again? And I want to say the answer is yes, but I don't really have a good time commitment to say when that will be. So let's see, if we go like this, if we decelerate a little bit. Okay, so if we decelerate a little bit, that gets us around where we were before. So that gets us to 126. Now this is another thing that's a little bit annoying to try and do here, because we want to actually fly up, like up above it, maybe. No, we don't want to go that way. We want to adjust our orbit over here, 200 something. All right. Where does that node put us? 60,000. Oh, it puts us in a collision course. We don't want to do that. 60,000, Minmus periapsis. Can we get closer? Not really. So we gotta start watching the gravity well here. So 100. And try and tweak this a little bit, 90, so we can go that way some. 70. I want to get to like 50. No, that's too much. Well, you know what? That puts us on the right side of it. So maybe if we see, and this is the other thing that I'd really like to actually be able to adjust right here. So if we go like this, if we just bring it up just a little bit, I'll actually miss the whole damn thing. All right, so maneuver node tweaking is fun. I think we'll just go with the orbit. We can get and work from there. 100. Can we get any closer? 60. There we go. 14. 14 is fantastic. And because we're just kind of flying in space wherever, I can go about 4 hours and then make this happen. Yeah, I guess the other issue that I have with Scrolls is kind of a problem that I contribute to myself as well, which is that sometimes games can take so long and then it takes a really long time to actually find somebody in a game anyway. I find that when I'm able to play on European times, that there's a lot more people on than, unfortunately, in the late evening window I have in American time. So it's kind of hard for me to get a game, and then I don't log on, so it's hard for other people to get a game. And I said, because Mojang added a lot to the game. I'd say they've done some good work on it. Let's see here. 40, 30, 20, 17, 15, 12. That's good enough. That's really good, actually. So here we go. We got our target, and we are on a course for getting to Minmus. Now, can you spot Minmus in the night sky right now? Is that Minmus? No, that's the moon. This is one of the first things I ran into in actually trying to find Minmus, is that I actually couldn't spot Minmus. And that's because it's actually not on the same plane right here. Technically, it should... Well, actually, you know what? We can just look right at the target reticule to see where it should... If we can point right here, we can actually point right to where Minmus should be appearing, which should be right around there, but I don't think it's really being rendered yet. I did see something flash up, but I don't know what. So that dot may be Minmus. We're going to find out in just a minute. Because I'm okay on fuel. We can just time accelerate. See if we can see Minmus approaching a little bit closer, because we are going for a landing. Yep, that little dot is Minmus right there. I don't know if you can see it with the quality of the stream, but where my mouse pointer is right now, that's Minmus. Which is exciting. It just reminds me of recently had a chance for the first time to go, well, not for the first time for me, but for the first time to take my family to actually, it wasn't an observatory, but it was a group of amateur astronomers that had their telescopes set up at a local science center. It was nice because my wife had never actually look through a telescope before to see out into space. It was one of those things she just never had a chance to do. And then my daughter, who's just starting to really get into space stuff, was really excited to see all the things, even though it took her a while to figure out how to actually look into the telescope because she's little. But I mean, she also really likes Kerbal Space Program, but she more just wants me to see run around with astronauts and actually fly things. Or she really likes the title screen with the 3 people floating in front of Kerbal. So there we go. There's Minmus floating towards us ever so slowly. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was really nice. It was it wasn't the clearest of nights, but the clouds were parted enough to where the only things that were really out in the sky that night were Mars, Saturn, and Jupiter that you could see. The clouds came in before people started pointing their telescopes to other things, but also got to see like the moon as well. The thing that still just doesn't, I wouldn't say freaks me out, but still gives me pause. Am I actually going the wrong side on this? No, I think I'm okay. That gives me some pause with looking at things through a telescope was that you look at Mars in a telescope, and Mars is a lot closer to us, and it just looks, you look at the power of the telescopes we're looking at, and it looks really just kind of like a red dot in the sky, a red smudge. I mean, these were amateur astronomers. It wasn't like super powerful. I've had an opportunity to look in some super powerful telescopes before. We're actually in the sphere of influence, so I actually need to get flying here in a moment. But then you say, look at the same power of telescopes at like Jupiter or Saturn, and you get so much more detail because those things are just so much bigger. Now, granted, it's really hard to target something like Mars, which is small, because the Earth is rotating all the time. And it's hard to keep track if you don't have auto tracking. But just to give you the sense of scale of just like, just for some of those things, you could actually see some of the moons around Saturn about as well as you could see the moon around, or some of the moons around Jupiter. Okay, I wouldn't say exactly as well as Mars, because Mars is definitely bigger, but just the features on Saturn or Mars being so much huger. Yeah, well, this was, if you don't mind me asking, Cataracts, because I'm not going to ask you to disclose where you are from, but around what kind of population are you looking at in terms of where you live? Because even if you can't see like all the star features, you should be able to at least see the planets in the night sky. I mean, there's still some features you can see. You can look at the Andromeda Galaxy with good telescopes, even in some pretty heavy light pollution, I think. Okay, there we go. We're now in a suborbital. I'm going to get there in just a second. I mean, the county that I live in has about 400,000 people in it, and the surrounding counties have about another 3 million in it. So there's definitely some light pollution concerns for me as well. But fortunately, it's not too far of a drive to say go out to the country and then you can see the Milky Way if you're looking in the winter. So there's that. All right, so we're going to be flying on the dark side again in a second, and I actually missed my burn time. Great. Fortunately, my estimated burn, wow, that changed a lot. Okay, so I guess it doesn't matter too much. Yeah, 6 million's a bit more than mine. I understand that. But yeah, that's a nice place to go on a vacation, man. Glad you're able to have a good time and see good things here. I'm going to keep this orbital a little bit elliptical right now. Yeah, I still remember the first time I saw the Milky Way in the sky. I had absolutely no idea there was that much stuff in the sky. And it was actually on the same night as there was like this gargantuan meteor shower that just like it filled the sky with meteors. It totally like set my expectations incorrectly for other things I'd see in space in the future. But let's see here. So what experiments are we going to do? EVA report. That's right, Minmus has biomes now. I forgot about the fact that Minmus actually has biomes. Like I said, when I came, I think I even said that the last time I came here, Minmus did not have biomes. It was just Minmus. So we are going to do this from landing, and we can do one of these from space near Minmus. So the goo feels right at home. Here, we'll keep that 40 science. And we'll just go ahead and go... I guess the best thing to do is just kind of go around. Here's what Minmus looks like in the dark. I'll show you the more interesting features here in a little bit. So there is the rock that they say looks like pudding. Well, it's not a planet, it's a moon. Let me actually give you all the flavor text for it a little bit, because it is a little bit deformed, and that deformity is actually going to work to our advantage here. There's the Minmus flyer, still doing good, doing fantastic on fuel. Here's Minmus info. Minmus is the smallest moon orbiting Kerbal. From the surface of Kerbal, it can be seen in clear days as a tiny blue speck in the sky. It is often mistaken as dirt, a lens on the telescope, or dead pixels, but the top minds of the Kerbal Astronomical Society assure us that it is real moon nonetheless. So there's Minmus. It's small, but the most important thing is that it has these flat surfaces, like sort of low, flat ice plains. And we can use that to our advantage to actually try and get a pretty good landing here, although I don't have the best orbit for it, because I am coming a little there. But if I do want to try and target a landing right here, I probably can. Let's see how much delta V that's going to need, because I have... What? That's not where I wanted the maneuver node to go. Let's try that again. There we go. So if I like do something like this, that should get me pretty close to there. Maybe it's been an asteroid shield, I don't know. The other flavor text, as we'll see when we actually get on the Minmus, says that the Kerbals theorize that this blue stuff here is pudding of some kind. And actually it's pretty similar to sort of similar in terms of scope. Let me actually zoom out here to Elo, which is the farthest out planet. It's on a very elliptical plane here. It actually has some similar landscape characteristics in terms of sciencing and everything. But there's a nice shot of Kerbal and the moon all the way over there. There's the sun, and we're not going to have any special eclipses right now, although this is the very twice in an orbit where all these are on the same plane. So definitely going to take advantage of that. And I should probably actually zoom back in. Those are little asteroids that pop up. I'm not doing any asteroid recovery yet, but yeah, see how far away. We're actually almost out of Kerbal's sphere of influence, believe it or not. But that's Minmus for you. Alright, so we want to get our maneuver node near the retrograde here, and we are on a very wonky orbit. So we'll just get this fixed up real quick. And fly with me. We're going to go all the way up. In fact, I could probably be doing some sciencing right now. Do we have any crew reports? Yeah, over high space over Minmus. Let's go ahead and transmit that. Because yeah, this is high space right now. So we're just going to go ahead and get it up to the top here, and then we're going to try and bring our way back down. Now this planet is going to be rotating, so what I probably should do, just to be safe here, because this is part of the fun of orbital bodies, is trying to get this marker in a way that when I land, I'm actually landing in these planes, which means I need to kind of shoot my way over here a little bit. Maybe that's a little bit too far, but if we have the marker right here, I should land all right. So about 19 minutes. So this is going to take a little bit of time. My orbit is only 97 meters per second. This has like no gravity on it. But if I do end up having to land on one of those mountains, it's not a big deal. Minmus has a very light gravity. So only a 3-second burn. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, I may need to adjust this just a little bit more. Land right in the pudding. Sounds delicious. That sounds like a miss. That's what she said. Opportunity. All right. So you can see this is kind of the issue you run into in terms of getting these maneuver nodes set up and everything, is that the rotation of the planet is actually not that slow. So I'm going to need to adjust this on the fly real quick. Whoop. Not that way. Whoop. There we go. That should put us in the safety zone. And the reason you want to put it in the pudding as well, as we're going to call it now, is entirely because of the fact that it is a flat, predictable surface. So whereas Minmus actually has some pretty wicked ridges and everything, like if you do a 10,000 meter orbit, you can actually really screw yourself up. But yeah, that should be good enough. if you like, I've done orbits where I've barely grazed mountains and destroyed a ship because I thought it was a little flatter than the moon. But as you can see from all these crags, there's some pretty high vistas and stuff. But as the planet rotates, we are actually going to be getting a little bit closer, and I am going to Iron Man this. I'm actually not. There's Kerbal again. Maybe the last time you see it, Jed. I'm actually just going to see if I can one-shot this. I feel like I have the ability to do so, but I also felt like I had the ability to rescue a Kerbal the first time without screwing up. So Jeb could get stranded. That could be a thing, but I still have plenty of fuel, which is a plus. And see, the planet is rotating at just the right speed because I'm only going 70 meters per second here, and that's 27 minutes away. So we are going to be going a little bit faster before too long. Actually, let's just go ahead and speed this up a little bit more. I really hope I don't miss this. So 70, 80, 90. Yeah, we're going to be right in the middle. So that's good. Since we are dropping a little bit lower, here is what Minmus looks like in the daylight. Let's go ahead and get another crew report. However, Minmus, let's keep the data. EVA report. I'm going to quick save here because I have had some problems with Jeb escaping on me for some reason when he EVAs on descents for some reason. Let's keep the data. Space high over Minmus. That's good science, but there is the area we're looking to land in right there. So let's go ahead and get our camera put directly. And here we go. Minmus is, let's get our retrograde marker set. And we are going to start decelerating before long, and that's going to change a little bit where we land. My goal is to land in the blue stuff. That might not happen. So let's get it closer, closer. Once we get to about, let's see, how many meters up? And this is where the IVA is really important here. So we're still pretty high up. And we are good to go landing here. So I'm actually going to get a little bit closer before I start decelerating. Probably about 10,000 meters is a good place to start. Because gravity is so low here, I can afford to be a little bit more aggressive. I don't want to be so aggressive that I just land on that side ridge, because the slopes on Minmus are pretty easy to underestimate. But there's also some pretty cool footage that you can find on the Kerbal Space Program Reddit sometimes, where like people will put rockets on Minmus just to try and test some kind of land speed record or something. It's pretty cool stuff for nerds like me, at least. So here we go. Orbit slowing down. Let's get to about 50 meters per second, because we're just going to let Minmus slowly grab us and get us in here. Get those landing gears out. Don't need all the landing gears, but we'll do enough of them. And do we have another crew report here? Crew reports. Space near Minmus. Okay, so we need to get a little bit. We need to get landed before we get another crew report. Sounds good to me. Note that Jeb has been out in space for 7 days. A moon mission, if you're just trying to orbit or land on it, takes about a day and a half of game time. So let's see here. We are at 5,000, so we need to really start watching our trajectory here quite a bit. We're a little bit dangerously close to that edge. So I'd feel a little more comfortable if I flew actually over it, but I think I'll be okay. So we have my dog who's trying to escape all the time, once again getting a little angry at me. But that's how that goes. So let's get about 50 meters per second. And we're starting to see the ground scatter. We're starting to get the altimeter still at a few thousand. I think we're going to be okay. Like I said, even if I land on a ridge, I'll be okay. I just really want to land on the flat stuff. So here's Minmus. No atmosphere. No aero braking to be found. And yeah, we're going to be good to go. And we're just going to take this nice and slow. We have daylight. We have all the electricity we need. We can do another crew report maybe. Yeah, space near Minmus. All right. So about 1,000 up. Can we do a crew report again? Crew reports. Yeah, don't need that. Okay. Alright, so let's start getting to serious time here, because now we are in the flat stuff. We have successfully just about killed our surface velocity. And now we just want to drop straight down. Notice that I still have plenty of fuel. So we're okay there. And you can see some cool space rocks. Because that's when you know you're low enough to the ground here. We are now actually below the mountain peaks. We're at about 1,000 meters. Coming in really well. The only issue is that I like going on kind of a dawn or dusk side a little more, just so I can see my shadow a little better. Right now I'm actually not entirely clear where the sun is. Actually, I think it's actually behind a ridge, so technically I shouldn't be making a shadow at all. But 800 meters, counting, and no shadow to speak of. Jeb is happy as always, so that's exciting. And let's just go ahead and slow down here. You can do a slow burn on your engine as well, just to try and get this going. On the moon, you have to be way more precise than you have to with this. And these landing struts can take about 6 meters per second probably with this weight. If you threw a ball here, I'm not sure. It's probably not like the Mars moons, where if you ride a bike off of a ramp, you would actually fly off into space. There is some gravity here. There is another moon surrounding the Eve, which is the Venus anagram for this game, and called Gilly, that has practically no gravity, and you are in danger of flying off into space if you even jump. But I imagine if you threw a ball here, I'll look at the actual gravity stats here in a minute. I think there's like 1/5 of the Kerbin's gravity, which is the same as Earth's gravity here. So let's zoom out a little bit. We're at 75 meters. We want to get this more consistent, and I want to be pointed straight up, which of course gets the song in my head, straight up now. Don't you tell me that you want to love me forever. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, so 1.8. Got to get it straightened out. 1.9. And, oh, that's okay. A little too fat-fingered. And touchdown. And none of the struts are broken. Let's put on the SAS. We have Minmus landing. Now, the fun part about this is that these mystery goo things are so high up that I think it's still going to say, oh no, we're in the Minmus Great Flats. They did fix that. Okay. But yay, Minmus, we're here. Let's go ahead and observe the Science Junior, which says, while the material samples are processed, you begin to turn your thoughts on how much Minmus looks like a mint dessert, and you have discovered you are now hungry. Look, 125 science. And let's get another crew report. Can we get one from here? Yeah, from Minmus's Great Flats, you get 25 science. Let's go ahead and transmit that since I have plenty of electricity. And more importantly, let's EVA. So EVA report. This is going to be space just above Minmus's Great Flats. So let's actually keep the data board. And then we're going to EVA again, because notice 8 meters up is high enough to actually be in space. But if we go ahead and jump off, like I said, this is going to be me testing to see if I can, oh good, I can actually run off this way. Yay, Jeb is falling. Ugh, but he landed okay. Now, how high can you jump? That is a normal Kerbal jump. I am jumping higher than the rocket. So what happens if you throw a ball? I imagine it's escape velocity. But that at least means that I can jump back into my spaceship. Hopefully I don't knock it over. Let's look at the map, because you can actually get the planet stats here as well. Your gravitational mass is that thing. Escape velocity is 2.46 meters per second, which let's compare that, or 246 meters per second. Let's compare that to Kerbal. Not that. We don't want to switch to that right now. I'll get that answered in a little bit. But yeah, it's low. Now the two other things that we can do here is EVA report from the surface. You feel like a space superhero when you jump in the low gravity. That's true. 40 science. Plant a flag. Probably fly away in space. Well, what was it? They shot a golf ball on the moon and it just flew, but the moon only has like 1/4 of gravity. So, pudding. Tastes like not pudding. Because if we take a surface sample, surface seems to consist of tiny crystal-like grains, very pretty, probably not edible. So if we do this here, and we're actually within walking distance of a hill. So I'm going to see if I can do that. But first, let's see if I can actually, because I don't think you can take multiple surface samples with you one at a time. Oh no! Did I just launch myself into space? That was unexpected. Alright, so we're going to have to actually precision tune this just a little bit. Alright, so upsy daisy, upsy daisy. So I guess those ladders there were an interesting feature. So we're just going to fly up there like a normal astronaut. Yeah, on Kerbal, your EVA doesn't do anything practically, so let's board, let's put the experiments in, and can I actually go ahead and transmit data as well? View stored data. EVA report, let's go ahead and transmit that. And notice I got some messages as well, so EVA report from Minmus's lower lands, EVA report from high above. We're getting all the signs from this. EVA report from this place, and surface sample, we're just going to keep the data. Now look at all these objectives I got here. Contract complete. Oh, missed that one up. Let's try it again. Contract complete. You've successfully explored Minmus. I've got a shit ton of reputation. Great. Transmit or recover scientific data from the surface of Minmus. Hey, land on Minmus. Transmit or recover scientific data from around Minmus, and achieve orbit around Minmus. Those are all good. That means I got the contract. Interestingly enough, surviving to return is not actually a requirement. So let's try this again. We're going to go fall down. And we're just going to go, let's say, visit one of these hills over here. Now I do have some EVA propellant. And notice how high he's hopping here. It's actually probably going to be a little bit faster if we just go like this. Because we can get to the spaceship pretty easily. So here's us flying over the flatlands. Funny how different things look. Because that's now just what a few hundred meters away looks like. There are some rocks here. Those do not have any collision detection. You can't actually run through them. But I think it'd be, let's see here, I think he actually has a second flag, so. Let's see here, another EVA report. Yeah, I'm in space just above Minmus by doing this. So we are a little high up, and we are now over another part of Minmus. So this is Minmus's Midlands. Good, keep data. Okay, please don't actually kill yourself, Jeb, that'd be bad. Alright. Soft touchdown. Soft touchdown. Alright, so we're flying. And look, the rocket's only 1 kilometer away. That took practically nothing. And bounce. He's come back from worse. Oh, I don't have a second flag? That's a little sad. Okay. So what's the EVA report here? EVA from Minmus's Midlands, same science. There's a flag. Surface sample from Minmus's Midlands. Interesting. So this is 150. You sneak a taste of the surface sample. Nope, it definitely is not made of delicious dessert products. So there is your background story right there. And I don't know what other biomes Minmus really has right now, but I mean, I can go try and explore them a little bit later. It's actually going to be quite a bit for me to fly up here with the EVA. I think it's probably better if I just head back. But yeah, see, we have nice hills, nice slopes. This is a... You even on a moon as small as Minmus, Jeb, who's so very excited, still feels terribly, terribly small. I mean, we could try and go all the way up to the top of that hill, but I think it's probably better if I just try and head back. So we could play a game called Bowling for spaceships, which is how this is how you play. Can you actually hit your spaceship by flying this way? We're about 1 kilometer away. We still have plenty of monopropellant. And I've just got to hope that I don't hit it. So I got to hope that I don't hit it. But yeah, we're going to get... One thing that I wish you had was a speed gauge. Just to see how fast you're going. But fortunately, we have things like the flag and putting the flag. I am so mature just putting one that actually says pudding, I guess. But I really like the night sky view on Minmus. And that's where you can load different sky boxes here. Wow, that's actually a fantastic view. Let's, how do I get rid of the UI again? I forgot. Oh, well. Screenshot anyway. What? Whoops. Got too excited. Started to bounce. It's like, hey, let's look at the pictures. You're okay, right? Yeah, you're okay. You're totally fine. Totally fine. It's one little bounce for Kerbal kind, right? So I've already failed at bowling, but we do have our shadow that we can see. Jeb's not so bad. Like I said, first YouTube video I posted for this patch, I EVA'd with Jeb on, not on accident, but ill-advised EVA at about 7,000 meters up, and he landed on his feet and bounced up probably about 1,000 meters and walked away. Don't feel bad for Jeb. This is just nothing. It's kind of like if you ever watch any FTL stuff that I do, you just do not want me to be the captain of your ship, especially if I have a clone bay. That's not good. FTL, also something I hope to be streaming. Maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. Depends. Depends on what's going on. But just want to do Kerbal Space Program because it is fun. But we are flying on Minmus. And we are actually about to do our return here. So once again, I want to thank you all for watching and viewing and coming by and chatting up. I do appreciate the interaction with everybody. It's fun. It's fun. And we're sliding. Is he going to get it? Is he going to knock out the leg? If he knocks out the leg, I actually could be in trouble here. Okay, can he get it? Can he get it? Are we going to get a goal? This is like shuffleboard with Kerbals. That feels like something that should be a thing on Minmus. But here we go. Back up to the surface. I think we have more than enough science. So now we've just got to return. Maybe home this time. We're not going to actually fly up and ricochet all the way off here. So actually using the EVA pack appropriately and board. All right. Look at all this fuel we have left. We only have one tank, but that's all we really need. So we are going to try and return all the science. We do have 3 parachutes. 2 of them attached to here. They will actually clip through these, but I'll be fine. Let's see. Yeah, I think all we need to do is just fly. And because this still should be pretty much in the orbital plane, it's not going to be too much of a problem for me to actually return. So that'll be good. Alright, so let's just go ahead and fly like this. We're going to try and launch in 3, 2, let's just go anyway. Okay. Now you're going to see real quick that our altitude is increasing very fast. We're going to get up to about 15's good. Whoop. Well, does that put us back to Kerbal? I don't think it does. Oh, wait. Curb and periaps. There we go. That's all we need to do. 250 meters per second and we'll be flying right out. In fact, I may be able to just, if I can tweak this just right. See here, we don't want to do that way. If we go like this, I can probably actually do an aero capture. 200 something meters. Yeah, that's a little too aggressive. 60 meters. We'll do a mid-course correction here in a minute. So you can hear my whiny dog again. She just wants to run away from me every day. She's like gotten out 3 times this week. So yeah, lucky or totally according to my awesome plan. Now the question is, I'm going to be doing an aero capture here. Will I actually land on land? I would much prefer to land on actual land for this, so we'll see. That was me snapping at my dog, because that's what she responds to. Or either that or she's mad at my other dog sitting on a couch, because that's what they do. I have 2 dogs. They're both rescue mutts. They're both parvo survivors. I don't really know what either of them are. One is a hound mutt that we were told was a beagle mix, and then she grew to be 65 pounds, so she's not a beagle mix. And then one is a 4 or 5 pound teacup. I hate everybody, and I will attack everything. So, you know, dogs. It's fun. Well, we're actually, it's just like, look, here goes Minmus. We're actually flying high into the sky. Ooh, missed my burn. I think we'll be okay. Unfortunately, I think we're actually falling back down to the planet now. Got a little happy with the time accelerate button. Still, we won't have... We'll be doing a free burn regardless. So 10, 9, 7, 6. I could have done actually a little moon flyby too if I wanted to here, but because I have the fuel for it, but I think it's probably better if I just go ahead and get this landing in just so I can make sure I have the science. Now we're going to be doing an aero capture. I think 18's probably a little too aggressive, but we're going to do it anyway. Oh, that's good. Yeah, rescue dogs are awesome. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's plenty of dogs that are very nice, very friendly that I've met that are purebreds and everything. But I'm glad that we were able to give dogs a home. I mean, part of the reason one of my dogs is so mean is really because the house that he grew up in, or yeah, the house that he grew up in was just, we're just going to time accelerate really fast here. Yay, we're coming back. Whoop, a little bit too fast. The house that he grew up in, they pretty much dressed him up like a doll, and the parents just let the kids treat the dog like a doll instead of like a dog. So, glad to avoid that. This is actually looking like it's going to be an oceanic landing unless I can pull off something good. This is a terrible angle to have this at, but we'll see. Maybe my aero capture will get me in an elliptical orbit and then I can fix where I land. But if I land in the water, it's not a huge deal. So, aero capture time. And I really should have my ship pointed the other direction. Now, unfortunately, the way this ship is loaded out, it's very, very possible that this is not going to stay in a straight trajectory, but it'll fly on its side like a log. We don't want that. And I could EVA Jeb him and probably kill him over the ocean. This is one of those times where I really miss my cloud cover mod because it gives me something to look at. But there is the Kerbal landscape passing by. There's actually the Kerbal Space Center. We can see it on the horizon right there. If I could just turn a little bit. Okay, that's not exactly it. That's that shoal. Kerbal Space Center is right there. So it's kind of beyond the horizon at those mountains. But regardless, here we go. Air capture. Jeb's been in space for 15 days. He really wants to go home. Oh, wow, it's actually flying like it's supposed to be instead of planing out. Or maybe I'm going to speak too soon. I could have my SAS on, but I feel like that's not great. But here's my ship on fire. Fun things. What's my orbit doing? Okay, that was a really aggressive aero capture. In fact, we are going to splash down. Those G's probably would have killed him if he were human, but he's Jebediah. So we're just going to splash down not too far from Kerbal Space Center. That's okay. If I had done something a little less aggressive, maybe I could have landed up here. Chances are I would have landed near the poles, which may have been cool. For all the stuff I've done in Kerbal Space Center, I've never actually flown to the poles of the planet. But because we have this going on, I am actually going to be able to... I won't be able to use the landing struts, but hopefully this science stuff will survive the splashdown. Because I do have the decoupler here, and I do have enough parachutes to make this work. So let's go ahead and just decouple. right about now. There we go. And get that situated. Just let that go a little bit. Okay, so we are... I don't want to be doing that. What? Okay, let's... Parachutes, deploy. Save me. Please tell me I got my center of mass okay. Did I just really make mine upside down? I did. My ship is actually upside down. This, fortunately, is fixable, because all I'm going to do is let my parachutes do their work, and then cut to the chutes when I get a little bit further down. I've actually made this mistake in the past, and here I am again. So valuable science going face first into the ocean. I love how all these containers are open, and salt water's just going to pour into them. I already do have a water EVA, so... Still, these 3 parachutes are going to do their job, and they're going to open up around the same time. So at least the ship shouldn't destroy itself. Should not destroy itself. We'll see. And we're landing ever so slowly. There is my other parts crashing down. There goes money that I could be getting. And we're at about 1,000. These will deploy at about 500, and I'll have a very limited time to actually cut the chutes. There we go. Upside down. Cut it. And cut the chute. And there we go. 9.2 meters per second is faster than I'd like. But you know what? As we get closer to the ground, this parachute should work okay. We got, you know, if I lose science, Minmus is not that big of a deal to get back to. And sometimes if these detach, they're still recoverable. So sometimes you can still get the science just from there. We'll see. 70, 60, 50, 40, 30. Let's stop accelerating time. 8.8 meters per second. Oh, it fell apart. All right, well... That's why I wanted a land landing instead of a water splashdown. The ship was not designed for a water splashdown, so I lost a little bit of the science here, but one more crew report just to see if I... Oh yeah, I actually didn't get this one before. Okay. But there we go. Otherwise, that's it. Let's go ahead and recover the vessel. No need to EVA. Most of the ship is there. Something may show up as debris, but chances are it probably got destroyed. So here we go. Mystery goo observation from Minmus's Great Flats. Those are all recovered. I got 767 science. My reputation has skyrocketed. My money has skyrocketed. We'll get to there in a little bit. Recovery of vessel returned from the surface of Minmus. Pretty cool. Lots of EVA reports are not reflected in this science total. Parts. I get a little bit of parts, and I get some mono-repellent and some fuel back. The mystery goo containment unit actually returns as well. 2 of those. And Jeb survives, but he flies all the time. So, tracking station. Do I have any other science to recover? Don't think so. On Minmus, any debris in space. Minmus flyer debris. If I can recover some of these, I'm not going to get money for them, but sometimes you can get science. I'm pretty sure it's just the legs, though. Pretty sure the Science Junior got vaporized. Because it's water. Oh well. So there we go. That is a Minmus mission. I do have plenty of science that I can add to my sciencing. Let's see here. 767 science. That will give me a lot of good things. A lot of good things. Like better ladders. But let's try and be a little more judicious here. What do I actually need? I need those. Because that gives me fuel lines. I'm pretty sure some of these unlock some important stuff. There's some rockets over here that I'll get to later. There's the giant rockets. Let's get these, because I want to do some more jet propulsion stuff early. There's RCS, so 90 science there. Different command modules. We want to get our experiments first, though. So there's an air pressure experiment. There's smaller landing struts, which are okay. Those are rover things. We'll get to those later. Get the solar panels. Maybe put a space station out before too long. There is 300 science that I can't afford. So let's see, do I have a lot in the way of jets? There's jets. And there's better jets. But I think I'm probably going to go ahead and save what science I have for now for another mission. A good thing to shoot for is nuclear rocketry, but it won't come for a while. But I am going to go ahead and call this a stream. This is Way to Fail. I'm glad you all were able to watch. I'm going to just go ahead and put up my YouTube info real quick here. If you ever want to watch, ever want to check it out, or otherwise, I do appreciate you all taking the time to watch, flying with me a little bit. I've been going for quite some time here, I feel like, but this will be posted on my YouTube channel as well. If you did miss anything in the beginning, there was lots of fun and drama. But once again, thank you all for watching. Thanks for sticking around. Great to meet and chat with some of you all, and I look forward to doing it again in the future with Kerbal Space Program or other games as well. But hope you enjoyed it. See you all next time.